Hello chess beginners. Today I'll be teaching you how to play chess by playing against the first 3 bots on chess.com, the holiday bots. I intentionally use the word beginners because this video is for beginners. If you are not a beginner, well, you can still stay and treat this like a meditative session. And for others, let's begin the game. I'll be explaining some of the basic principles you need to follow as a beginner in the opening, middle game, as well as the end game stage of the game. I'll be playing against the first 3 bots, and the first one is Yeti. The first opening principle: control the central squares. Keep your attack or pieces or pawns here. It's better if you start as a beginner with one of these 2 moves, pawn to e4 or pawn to d4. I'll be playing e4 in this. Okay, black has responded with pawn to c5. This is actually an opening called Sicilian defense played at the top level and comes with a very complicated theory. But as a beginner, you don't need to worry. All you have to see is black is controlling this square, we are controlling this one. We have the option of directly challenging this pawn, but let's just go ahead with this move. Usually prefer moving your knights on these squares because a knight at the edge of the board is not considered well, and black has done the same. Here we have multiple options. Bishop, we can develop this bishop, we can develop this knight. We can also push this pawn to control center and ask black what they want. Now let's see where is a good move, a good square to keep this bishop. You can keep it here. Let me color it green. Here, maybe here, but avoid keeping at this square. Why? Because then it restricts the movement of this pawn and keeps this bishop closed. You have the option to play this pawn and come here, but this is not generally considered a good move. So let me put this bishop here. Okay, now here is a middle game tip for you. Every move your opponent plays, look for 2 things. What are they achieving from the new position, and what did they lose from the previous? In the new position, black rook is protecting this pawn and threatening to play pawn to b5, attacking this bishop. What did they lose? Maybe control of this pawn, but it's protected and there is no way to attack. How do we respond to this? Or do we need to respond to this? It's a good question. Let me play a simple move to counter black's idea. And black jumps in with queen to a5. Usually in the opening they say, do not move out your queen too early, because often it gets attacked and there is no way to defend. Now here is one thing. I want to play this pawn here, maybe here, and free this bishop. But this pawn cannot move since the queen is keeping an eye on our king. This is called as a pin in chess. Pins are not good. I would be just moving out of the pin by castling my king. Okay, black played another move, developing a pawn, increasing pressure on this square. Now if we play this move, this pawn will fall and we can't really take it back. For this, you need to know the relative values of pieces. Usually in chess they say a pawn is worth 1 point, a bishop or a knight is worth 3, a rook is worth 5, and a queen is worth 9 points of material. So if you play, black takes, so black takes 1 point. You have to take with maybe your knight 3 points, and now again black will take with another pawn, which is defended by their knight. In all this, you are gaining 1, maybe maximum 2 points, but you are losing 1 and 3. This is not a good trade. But I want to move this and push black's queen away, maybe like this. So I'll just put it 1 square ahead. And okay, black has played a move, queen to a6. The only most important principle that you need to remember at every stage of the game. Do you remember? For every move your opponent makes, look for what they achieved at new square and what they lost at previous. Continuing that logic, also see what did they run away from previous square and where did they land into the new square. And clearly you can see they have landed into our bishop's territory. Remember how much is the worth of this bishop? Around 3 points, around 9s. So this is a good trade. We just win black's queen. Black recaptures. Now we need to think again. Always look for 3 things in chess. CCT. Checks, captures, and threats. Do we have a check? Not really. The king is guarded. None of our pieces are well developed. So what do? Develop our pieces. We have 1 capture, but then we just lose our knight for free. We don't have much threats because even black doesn't have much development. Let's just develop this knight. Okay, the knight goes back. Ask yourself, what is this knight trying to achieve? See, it can't come here or here. These are guarded. Maybe knight wants to come here. That's like a passive move. Black is not achieving much. But did black lose anything? Yes. Lost the defense of this pawn the knight was guarding, which is attacked by our knight. So what do? Take the free pawn. Okay. What was this pawn doing? Nothing. What's it doing now? Nothing. And where has this pawn landed into compared to the previous position? Exactly, the attack of our bishop. It's not defended by anybody from black's camp. So what do? Of course, you have to make sure before doing such trades. But since Yeti is not a stronger opponent, we will just ignore. Now here is a question for you all. Was this move a miscalculated move? Take a pause and think. You might think it probably was, because I did not consider that black could push this pawn supported by the knight, and black could fork 2 of my pieces. A double attack in chess is called a fork, which I missed, and I had to lose one of these 3 points. Of course, I wouldn't give up. I would ask myself what this move achieved. A successful fork? And what it lost or gave up? This diagonal. I would put my queen here and try to have some counterplay. Okay, never mind. What do we do now? Another principle. When you are up material, go for trades. So it's a good move if I trade my bishop with this knight, 3 points each. Although I'm not really in a hurry. My piece is developed, this knight is doing nothing. What do I do? Checks? Do we have any? No. Captures? We don't have any good. Okay, this is one. Threats. Can this knight threaten? Yes, it's attacking the pawn. But it's defended by the king. We need one more attacker. And let's bring our queen out. We can bring it from here, or we can bring it from here, this way. Let me keep it safe. Although this was also a good move. Black played knight to f5. Ask the question. What did it achieve? Nothing. What did it lose? I don't know. It wasn't doing much. And where did it land into? Of course our attack. It's undefended. We can simply just take this. I am putting the pressure here. Again black played the knight here. Ask yourself, what was this knight doing here? Nothing. Maybe guarding the square. Or this. Nothing else. What's it doing now? Nothing. Not attacking anybody. And where has it landed? Into our attack without any defense. What do? We capture. But with what? Actually either one is good. But our plan was to attack this pawn. Hence I will capture with queen and also put an eye on this square. Push the pawn. What did it achieve? Attack our knight. Opened up the bishop. Maybe opened up a square for king. What did it lose? Not much, but it ignored our threat. We can play our queen here, or we can play our queen here. First rule, look for checks. Always look for checks. And both of these moves, if you look carefully, block all the squares for this black king. And hence, end the game. We could think of moves like queen takes rook. But remember, in a game of chess, ultimately you have to win your opponent's king. That's the main aim. Let me just go with the initial plan of capturing the pawn. Although this is also checkmate. Let's end the game. Now let me play the next game with the same board, but this time with the black pieces. Okay, opening principles. What did we decide? Control the center. And white did so by playing d4. How do we control the center? We can play one of these two moves, but this move is not so great. Why? White's pawn is defended by the queen, but black's pawn on e5 not defended by anybody. It's also a move, it's also an opening, but it's a gambit. So I would not recommend you as a beginner to try it out. So let's just play a solid game. White plays the knight. What do? Again, can't play this. Now there are two attacks on this square. Let's try to control this square. Where do we? We just bring our knight here and take the control. Okay, what did this move achieve? Opened up the bishop. Maybe white is trying for this check. Is it scary? No, we can just block it. So these moves often waste what's called a tempo. Let's just mimic. We also want to open our bishop. Black has played another move, challenged our pawn. Should we take? Yeah, it's a good move. We can also ignore because it's well defended. We can do the same thing. We can give the checks. Remember, always look for checks. White can defend it many ways. Let's just play it here. Okay. Is this doing anything? No, just guarding this pawn which was already defended. Nothing else. I'll castle. Okay. Knight comes here. Where is this knight really going? I don't know. What did it achieve? Opened up this diagonal. Lost control of these squares. Added another defender. You see, these moves do not make sense for one reason to me. That already this is defended twice and white is just adding third defender. The knight is passive. What's it doing here? Maybe white wants to come here, but again, where is it going? No idea. What do we do? Just like white, let's mimic and push another pawn. Again, challenging the center, and it's defended. White pushes the queen here. Again, ask yourself, what did white achieve? What I see is an attack here. Did they lose anything? Okay, an attack on this diagonal. Can I take advantage by playing knight? Not really worth it because knight is alone. We need more pieces to be developed. Actually, we can now think of captures. There are no checks. But let's keep the tension. I'll just make a developing move. Both of them are well protected. And okay, now white really is kind of forcing us to trade. Should we trade? If we do not, then actually we can even allow that. But let's just begin on our terms. See, as a beginner, sometimes you need not worry like I need to make all the best moves. You just need to make some good ones. Okay, what's the plan now? We did one trade, and now I see what did this move achieve. It gave me a pawn with 3 attacks and 1 defense. Can I take it? Why not? What should I take with? If I take with the queen, white can trade the queens. And we are stronger than white. Why should we trade? We can also capture this knight to simplify. Should we? No. Let's just take it. I will either take with pawn or with the knight. And I think taking with knight is a good move, because when you get to an intermediate level like me, you will understand this concept called as an outpost. An outpost is a position where no pawns can now attack your knight and it's guarded by a pawn. Okay. I was all into this theory and white just played a move, queen to f3. Ask yourself, what did this move achieve? This move achieved nothing. An attack on this knight, but it's well guarded. You are not really going to take with the queen. What did it lose? Maybe an ion or a queen. And where did it land? In the territory of our knight's attack. Should we take it? 3 points? 9 points? Of course. We trade and give a check. White takes back. And now, as we discussed earlier, what do we do when you are up material? Trade. Trade as much as you can. On your terms though. I will just trade knights. And now we are in a really good shape. What do we want to do? Develop our pieces and go for opponent's king. How do we do that? Ask yourself, which piece needs to move? If I move my queen, because we are looking for checks, black can just come and defend. It's an okay move, but then we have to move the queen again. Maybe let's develop this bishop, put a threat, and ask white a question. Do you want to trade or not? Okay, this was just a blunder. White should have rather captured. Did this move achieve anything? No, it had landed on our attack without any defense from white, and we just grab it. Okay, another pointless move. Okay, ask again, what did it achieve? Attack on the square. Where did it land it? In our pawn's territory. It's a free pawn. And what did it lose? Earlier it was closing this diagonal. Now it just opened it. I can just attack this rook, and this rook, you see, cannot move. This is a common theme in chess. This is how you capture rooks. If the bishop was here, we could take this pawn and grab it because the rook cannot move. We get the rook. I have two moves, actually three. Play queen here to attack, play queen here to attack, or play bishop here to attack. Three attacks on this rook. My queen is not developed, so let me just put it on an active square and attack this rook. There is no way for white to defend it, because even if this knight comes out, you will take it for free, give a check with a double attack and win the rook anyway. Okay, before making a move, again look for checks. That was the rule. We don't have a good check yet. Okay, we have this, and we can actually win another rook with this double attack. I'm kinda tempted. Okay, let's just win this because this is also losing. Not defended. What did this achieve? Nothing. Staring at a pawn. It also was a bad move. Why? Because we first take this, the king has to move, and we again take this. This concept is called as a skewer. You see, a piece which was more valuable have to move from the path of the attack of a rook, bishop or queen, and then we just chop off the piece behind them of a relatively lower value. Should I take? Of course, it's free. Again, look for checks, captures, threat. We have check, good move. We have captures, good move. As a beginner, it will be better if you remove all the threats from your opponent. And also, this is a good way of playing chess. Do not let any counter play. Okay, now white has literally nothing to play against us. These pawns are not going anywhere. They are not even connected or supporting each other. We already have control over the squares around the king. How do we... So of course the next task is to checkmate. Right? How do we do that? We are controlling these squares. Two pieces are usually enough for an attack, but better than two is three pieces. Let's just put a rook and also control these. Black voluntarily gone back. No. This is the phase where often beginners do not understand how to end the game. Always remember two things in an end game or while finishing the game. First thing, if you are hunting your opponent's king, it's better if you press them to an edge of the board or the corner of the board because it's easier. The squares are limited. In center, the squares are more. Also you have to attack from all the sides. Here it's easier. You can just put queen here or here with the support and you just win. How do I restrict white's movement now? Rook is already guarding these, queen is guarding these. What I will do is, I will create a plan. I will bring my queen closer. So my plan, let me tell you, I will put my queen here and my rook here, guarded by queen, and that's a checkmate. But let me think of some other idea. No, too complicated. Let me just close in. Black moves, but again this queen is stopping white from both sides, controlling all these 3 squares. Now there are many ways to win. I can just play bishop here. This pawn is pinned. This is the concept of pin. You cannot move this pawn, and the next move I can take. But do I have a mate in one? Pause and check. I'm sure you found this. Always look for checks. This is called kind of a back rank checkmate because the queen is controlling, and we win with Yeti with both colors. Let's go to the next pot. Now we are playing against a stronger opponent, so I'll be making relatively better moves. And as I mentioned, stronger. This gingerbread man played h4. This is not considered as a good opening at higher levels. Why? This one doesn't have much of a point. You're supposed to control center first in your opening. It's not like a losing move or something, but then white doesn't gain anything like the first move advantage. We play with principles. We control the center and white immediately challenges it. What to do? We can take, we can defend, but if we defend with a knight, then pawn comes forward, attacks the knight. We don't want that. Let's just take. And okay, I was expecting white to capture it back, but white is actually offering another pawn. Is it good? Of course. Usually you have to be aware of the traps and tricks white can play in such gambits. Here you can see it's called as Kada's opening or Kada's gambit, something like that. But usually most of the gambits, it's better if you accept them. Your opponent should really know what they're trying to do. I got 2 pawns. White got 1. I'm up a pawn. You can see a +1 here. What do we do? Opening principles, control the center, open your pieces, develop your pieces. Let's develop this knight. Usually the knights are better on these squares, at least at a beginner stage. Queen comes here. Is the queen achieving anything? No, not really. Let's just play another beginner move. Again, it would be better if white had developed their knight on f3 square, but they went to h3 instead. Now you see, then this knight is controlling less number of squares. Okay, these are not really, only 2. But if it was here, it would be controlling 4 squares, which is why knights are usually not good on edges. They should be centralized. What moves do we have? Do we have checks? No. Do we have captures? Not really. Do we have threats? We actually have this threat of playing. But then what will this knight do alone? It's better if we develop our pieces. We can actually put our bishop here, pin this knight, but they can just kick it away and we have to trade it. This is the point where beginners often don't understand. So no need to worry. Any of the moves are fine. You can just even develop this pawn. Even though white's attack is there, we also defend it with 2 pieces. Let's just play principled chess. Okay. Ask yourself, what did I achieve? Attack this pawn twice. What did they lose? Nothing. This knight was not doing much. And what you do? Where did they land? No, we don't have any attack currently. Our pieces are not so well developed. Now let's think. Checks? We don't have. Captures? We don't have. Do we have a threat? I am thinking, why don't I just push this pawn and attack this knight? Is there any problem? No, not really. This knight is not coming near us any soon. Let me just push my pawn. Okay, this is a move as a beginner you might not consider. If a bishop was here, this could be a little bit of, not a problem, but this move would be annoying. It would be a plan for this knight to fork our king and rook. Luckily, we don't have it. This bishop is still not developed. So what do we do with this knight? First of all, what's it's doing? It's attacking this pawn, which is defended twice, so that's not a threat. This knight is not even accompanied by somebody else. This queen is not actually having an eye here because our knight is well blocking it. This knight is still a bit irritating here, so let's just kick it away. It goes here again. You see, this position usually is not that great. Edge knight. What can we do? We have to develop our pieces. We can develop this bishop or this. Maybe we can develop it here, but then queen takes it. If we had a control over the square like a pawn here, we could actually play this move. And if the pawn comes to blockade, we can just take because our knight defends that square. This is how you calculate in chess. Now I feel this is actually a decent move. G6. G6. Put your bishop here and attack the queen. Put this bishop here. This is a good formation for beginners, you know. Push this pawn one square, put your bishop. Hard for other beginners to break it. Although at an intermediate level or higher level, you can see that, okay, this pawn can come and actually attack it. So what do we do? Can we check? We can. Actually, we are up a pawn. We are good with trades. Now a good move here would be to block it with bishop and trade, but white just gave up their castling rights. Now the king is stuck in the center. This is not that great. What do you do? Let me just castle, but before that I have to make sure that this pawn is not vulnerable or something. And here you see, white is already being aggressive. What did this move achieve? It achieved activity on our king side. What did it lose? It opened up this diagonal, so this rook could get vulnerable. And where did it land? Okay, it landed on a square. Attacked twice by our pieces, we can take with either of them. Now, is it a good move? Here I think it could be. But remember, every time you take a pawn, you open up that file for a rook. This rook can come here and attack. Well, I think I can defend. With experience, you get this idea. So do not panic. Just take it. Okay, white hasn't attacked yet, but rather attacked our bishop. Do we need to take immediate action? Not needed. Okay, let's think what to play. Did I tell you this rule? Oh yeah. CCT, checks, captures and threats. Do we have a check? And when you ask this question, always, in almost every move, you always spot a good check when it's there. Knight takes f2, and this attacks the king and the rook. This is called a knight fork. The king needs to save itself by moving, and the knight can just chop off this rook. Now the question doesn't end here. I take, Let's say king moves, I take. You have to go a move further. Bishop takes, and I have a defender, so I also take that back. Always try to calculate as far as you can. As a beginner, you might only get it for 2-3 moves. But okay, even 2-3 moves are enough. Most people don't even play that much. Also, one more thing to notice, if this was, let's say, undefended or there were some other potential threats, you can know that once you check, only 2 options that white has is to come on a dark square. You could take this and then probably take. But again, you had to think, if king comes e1, you take, and then this was hanging. So no, not so simple. Here now I can do this. I can take first and then take later. Queen takes. Always before making even an obvious move, check if there are any threats. This queen is not threatening. The pawn has been pushed and nobody can actually take this knight. What do we do now? A simple strategy. Before this piece getting trapped, just run away. I will try to run this away here maybe. Another strategy. Okay, by the way, what did this move achieve? Nothing, it's not attacking much. What did it lose? Protection of this diagonal. It's open now for us to attack. Also, it lost protection to this knight. It's not defended. Now I can probably play a move like queen here, attack both of these knights. Okay, this is defended, but this is not. Let's just play this. I don't see any dangers. King came to defend. Okay. What can we do? One plan is bring this knight back. Maybe attack the queen. Another, to develop this bishop. Maybe push these pawns. White has really no threats. Anything is fine, anything. Just look for any counter plays from white. Nothing is happening. So let's move this knight here or here. From here I will attack here also. So this looks a good move. Okay, what did this move achieve? Attack on our queen. Actually, you could take, because in the next move you are also attacking and getting the queen. These lines are complicated, so if possible I would suggest as a beginner to avoid them. So what do? Queen is attacked. We could move it somewhere like here, maybe offer a queen trade. We are already better on material. We can move it here and actually keep an eye through this pawn and aim for something called a discovered check or discovered attack. We could also move it back, but let's not get passive. Or we could try to complicate it by taking a piece, giving a queen, taking a queen, giving a piece, taking a piece. But in these you have to calculate how many pieces and major and minor pieces you lost and you gained. Currently we are up material, so it's most likely going to be a good trade, also because we are starting with a piece. Let me just take it for you. I know, I did not go for what we thought. You also have to consider this. What if white takes? Are we in more danger now? Because this queen could get trapped if misplaced. Currently we are fine. We can play this queen. We can actually play it here. It's not usually a good idea, but this rook itself is not guarded. It's complicated. Let's just ask for a trade of queens. It's defended with our knight. Oh, and white accepted. That's kind of strange. Okay, this king moved. Now who hasn't moved yet? Bishop. Always look for checks. We have a check. Develop. Deliver a check. Comes back. Again, who else is not developed? Maybe these rooks. A rule for rooks, always keep them on open and semi-open file. See, this is an open file. Semi-open file, you can say. Okay, what did this move achieve? The knight did not achieve anything. It went back, but it opened up an attack on a bishop. You have to be careful. Now this bishop should be moved. Although there are many good moves here. I can just take here because I always look for checks. A check with a double attack on knight. So although we give up this bishop, we do gain this knight. But there are other moves too. I can actually play this bishop here and create something called a pin. A pin is where this knight is pinned by attack of this bishop on this rook, higher, more valuable piece. And this looks good to me. Because even if the knight moves, we get the rook. If nothing happens, we get the knight at least. It's a trade. So let's just pin. Okay. What did this achieve? Not really. Not defending. Why should I have tried to defend? Okay. Do we have checks? Not a good one. Do we have captures? Oh yes, we have. And this looks like a good move because of many reasons. It puts a pressure on king by pinning this knight. It also attacks this knight. It also wins a free pawn. This pin is still here. This is like a great position and great move. Let's just do it. We have a couple of choices. We can take this, we can take this. I actually like this pin. Let me just take this and keep. Always remember a rule in chess. Put pressure on pinned piece. So even if white now tried to defend with one piece, we have two attacks. We can just exchange. It's not an exchange as well. It's a free piece. What's this? Attack on knight. Where do we move? Let's keep it closer to the king. Although you have to think that white can actually come here, try to displace this rook, and then it's defending this bishop, so it may fall. I will put it here just to block this. Okay. Now here is the thing. What do? This rook is kind of stuck. It's not really going anywhere. It can't come here. It's not doing anything here because it's blocked. Can't come here. Can't come here. Can't come here. Maybe this is the only square, but then that's really sad. So what do? Let's bring the remaining piece into game. As many pieces as you can bring. It's good. See, it went here. Again, it cannot come here. This rook is really sad. Let's just bring our rook. This is called as the 7th heaven, 7th rank. Actually it's 2nd. For if you count from bottom, it's 7th. At this point, white was really out of moves and hence played rook to b2. Now here is an instructive moment for all of you. Let's just remove these pawns on the board. Assume as if these are, what color should I give? Maybe blue. Let's say these pawns are not there. What would you take? Some of you beginners would just take it and completely give up this winning game into a draw. Why? This is a stalemate because the white king doesn't have any moves. If such a situation had occurred, you would instead either try to give a check, put this here and then take, or you can take it with the knight, or you could just ignore and play some other move. In this case, it's not really needed. So I will just take. White still has legal moves with the pawns. Just like this. And now here is the question. Who is defending this rook, this knight? What's it doing? Guarding the only two. This king is literally cornered now. The king has only 2 squares to move. Our rook is here. It cannot come here because it's defended. All you need to do is just give a check. Somehow. Either by moving this rook or by some other piece. I could give a check with my knight here. But that's a 2-move thing. A better one is giving a check here. And that solves our problem. This knight is still guarding. So that's a checkmate. So rook here delivers the checkmate and wins game. But just as an instructional moment, let me do it with the knight. Knight comes here. Because that's also a plan. And we win the game. Let me play another game. One more game. Let's play with Santa. Okay, Santa is pretty strong. Okay, the last game was white. So let me play with white this time. Let's keep Santa black. I play as white. What do we do? Opening rule. Put pressure in center. Oh, Santa also plays Sicilian. We again develop knight. We could also play d4 by the way. Let's play it anyway. I'm playing quickly because I know some of these openings. This is called as Sicilian Taimanov variation. You don't need to know any of these names as a beginner. You just need to know the theory. And by theory I don't mean the opening theory, just the basic principles. Knight is attacking. Should we take? No. We already got a knight from here to here to here. That's like 3 moves and white has just done 1 move. Why waste 3 moves for an equal trade? Let black make the second move for trade. So let's just develop another piece. Okay, gaining more control. What do we do? Again we can take, but not worth it. Let's develop something else. We can actually put this bishop here, put like this knight under a pin, but then they can just push it back. We might need to make it here. They can attack again, or we do this and we trade, and this is not really helpful. Although in this calculation I just noticed a little piece of tactic. I played here. If they play this move, I can actually chop this off and attack the queen. You need to get rid of this. So maybe you could take with the pawn. I take with the bishop and that creates a double attack. Now as a beginner you might be thinking, oh, I don't see all these things. Yeah, it's okay. Then let's play just simple chess and develop it here. Not all moves are critical. Okay, another knight development, attacking this pawn. It's defended, no worries. We also got one more move that creates a pin on the other side of the board. This bishop anyway needs to be developed. Let's just do it. Black should play okay. Black rather wanted to trade the knights first. Okay, defended well. Now what do we do? Usually you should not give your bishop for a knight. Bishops are slightly objectively better than knights, especially in the open positions. Okay, developed. Okay, developed somewhere. Now what's remaining? No tactics also to be seen. We can castle. The question is king side or queen side. Here you see black is ready to castle king side. So to make the game interesting, we can actually do that queen side. Although you need to make sure that no attack is coming because this file is open. It may come, but before that we can launch the attack. Should we do this? I think let's play safe. I would love to play a queen side in a real game. Okay, black also castled. What do we do? We have to develop, right? Let's bring this rook. Remember, rooks are better on open and semi-open files. What did this move achieve? Nothing. It's staring at this pawn, at this diagonal where nothing is going to happen. So what do we do? Checks? Don't have. Captures? This one comes with an attack and I don't like it. So let's not do this. Threats? We could threaten, but then takes, not really worth it. I see a threat here. This bishop is not doing much here, but we can actually attack this queen. Let's do it. No pawn to come in. Break it. Okay. Queen coming here, attacking, not really anything. Now black can actually just kick our bishop. These are the moments when you feel, okay, what is this? Okay, now I have a question. Should we take this? We can actually. Let's calculate. Takes, and attacking our queen. But what did it lose? Control over this pawn. We have 2 attacks and 1 defense, and we could win this. But the line won't end there. Takes, maybe takes. Well, that doubles our pawns, but we get a pawn. That's a good trade. Sometimes you can avoid all this and just play something like f4. You will develop your playing style very soon. But I see this is a good thing for me. Although I needed to make sure if this queen was, let's say, defended by a rook or something, I also needed to calculate this. Takes, and then black also can enter here. But let's do this. Takes. Black will likely take here. Oh, black didn't. And actually, this pawn also won't get doubled. Why? They put their rook here and offering a trade. We take, black has to take with the bishop, and this is a passive move, no? Now, do we have checks? No. Do we have captures? Yes. And we are going to do it. But before that thing, I just told you that rooks are good on open files. Do you really want to give this open file? If this rook was coming here, I would say no. So what I will do, I will just double up here, bring this rook into the game and keep the pressure on this file. Let black take this, I don't care. Why? Because now I am threatening a checkmate if this bishop moves. Does a silly move. Okay. Pawn push. What do we do? Actually think of a move here which is little cheesy trap. You can play it against beginner. What do? Push e5. You'll think, oh why? This is a free pawn. But remember what this bishop is doing. It's guarding this square where we can deliver actually a back rank checkmate. This rook is not guarding this rank. This can work against a human. I don't think it can work against a bot. And you can completely ignore this bishop. So if you play this pawn, whatever black plays, black needs to stay on this diagonal. But then the problem is it attacks our rooks and bishop. No, I don't like it. This is all you need to calculate. So before playing such a move, make sure you defend. If you bring it here, black can just attack again. It's fine actually, but why give chances? I can play a crazy move like here also, But now I'm thinking, why don't I just offer a trade? I'm a pawn up. I have a better position. But then I think, why open up this rook? Let's see what black does. Do they play this? Didn't. Attack the rook. Rook has to move, can't deliver, checkmate. Let's put it back here so that we can go this side as well. We got attacked. Only one choice. Okay, this move I don't really like. It doesn't achieve anything. There is no other piece to attack here. We can just ignore this bishop as well. Or we can just attack it once. See, black is playing without a plan, but this is coming. I can also run away with the knight. Our position is very comfortable. But let me just stop this move or what? Okay, do we have checks? No. Do we have captures? No, don't do these silly things. Do we have any threats? Currently, no. We need to create threats. Like I can take my rook here and attack. For that, this knight needs to move. When you don't have a clear plan, think which of your pieces is really sad. This bishop is sad. You need to improve this, but no really square to improve. How can you improve? Maybe you can push this pawn, bring it here or something. That will improve. But then for that push you need to move this knight. This knight is also sad, not looking anywhere. So let's start by improving the position of our knight. King move. Doesn't really do much. Actually our king is also sad here. This is the end game. What else we can do? I would like if this bishop had come here to attack, but then the rook just moves. Okay, time to activate pieces. There are many moves. I can play this, bring bishop here, but then it will stay. Let's just keep this bishop at this point. We will activate it later. We can activate king, knight, but then knight get attacked. We can keep it here or attacked and we cannot go here. So simpler moves. Let's just wait for your opponent. I am actually planning to push this pawn as well. And now black offers a trade. Should we take? I actually have an interesting move to pin this pawn. But then black just defends. I take. Should we take this? Let's just take. Takes with the pawn. And now, since this has been a little bit cleared, we were trying to improve the pieces, right? I will keep my knight here. It can be attacked. Black did not attack. What did this achieve? Nothing. This pawn is not going beyond this square, not even attacking any good piece or square. The only problem is this is black can attack our knight. We can run here and attack. But I don't like this pawn push. So let me just stop it. Okay. What's this bishop achieving? Not really anything. There is nothing on this diagonal. This bishop is not doing anything. I can play either of these moves and kick it away. But now I think, should I could play something better. I can have this check. Always look for checks. Attack this bishop. I can have this check. Leads to trade. What to do? Let's go simple and just attack this bishop. Goes back. Now I can give a check and do a trade here. I can put pressure on this bishop as well. This phase is important. Okay, if when you are not sure, always look for which piece is sad. This is good now, this is good now, this is sad. Let me just improve its position. Comes, attacks. It's guarded, no need to worry. But that will just double our pawns. Maybe I could play just here and give a check and then bring it here. I can actually play a bold move like just defending with my king. It's not actually bad. Let me just try it. Let's see if this works. Okay. Pinning our bishop, not an absolute pin, offering actually a trade. And here is a moment of tactics. Should I take or wait? If I take, what does that achieve? Always look for the loose pieces, undefended pieces, because loose pieces often drop off. I take, you take, I take, and I win 2 pieces against you winning 1 piece. But you have to consider all possibilities. I take, you take, then maybe I take with king and then you take. It's okay, but still not bad. So let's just hope that your opponent misses this line. And they did. And you win a trade. You are now a piece up. The position is still not completely winning. Black still has a rook. This is just trying to come, but we have enough control. What do we do? Improve the position of our pieces. Let's bring our king. King is a vital piece. But if I bring it here, then can black check? Can I block it? All this question arise. Do I want to do something with these? Okay, let's look for checks. Checks. You know, in a game I would play something instantly, but since I'm trying to educate you, I'm thinking of a good move actually. Okay, let me just do this. And if black comes, okay, black didn't come, I will move my king because black doesn't have an attack. I can move it towards rook, I mean these pawns, or towards king. Let me just move towards the king. Black is playing so passively, man. This is not how you win. I don't really can think of a move. Let's think what black should do. Black actually should come here, attack here. This pawn is not guarded. It's an open file, so I will have to save it. This is how you make basic plans. Okay, there is a check. I can block it. But if I block it, black comes here, enters here, all those plans. If I block it with the knight, it gets pinned. Black can actually attack with the king, but we can give a check. Complicated. Notice that this square is guarded by our knight, so we do not need to worry at this moment. The king comes up. It's not really going anywhere though. Let me just attack here. Gives a check. Nothing hanging behind this check, not like a skewer or something. Free pawn I take, but here I need to be mindful. Takes, check, and then this is falling. So to avoid that, takes, check, and I have to block it with the rook so that I don't leave this undefended. Does not do anything, offers another free pawn. Gives a check from here. I did not consider this move. Maybe because it's not achieving anything. Let's just keep this here and ask where this rook going. Again back. Black is playing very passively. We can actually offer a rook trade. Does not want to take. Actually we missed one thing here. You realized? Now since I played the king here, I don't have that block of rook block square. I have to move, and this concept is called skewer. I just landed into a skewer, but it's fine, it's affordable. Now black has entered our camp. This actually can get really bad if I'm not careful enough. I have these 2 pawns and those are really good, so I'm relying on them. Let me push this. This is not going anywhere. You take this pawn. It will take you quite a few moves to get to this knight, and by that time I will promote this to a queen. Okay. This is the only fighting chance black had, this rook, and they just gave it up. No way black can win this now. If I play well, of course. So now the time is to checkmate our opponent's king and to restrict their movement. Their movement should be completely restricted. It's not, because they can run away. I'll just make a queen. Push. Push. Be mindful of the stalemate tricks. Okay. How do you win? Checks captures threat. No check. No good captures. Threats. What's a threat? I will come here, something like this. I will attack you. The queen cannot attack, the rook cannot attack because of this king, no? Let's just remove it. Okay. Now here is a concept you need to know. I put my queen here, controlling this rank. Let's imagine this pawn wasn't here. I put my queen, and these 2 ranks are covered by my queen and rook. Sometimes it's 2 rooks, sometimes it could also be 2 queens. This is called as a ladder checkmate. The king it's forced to go and a rank behind. Then you move this piece here, keep here, and then you control these 2 ranks inside. This is like a ladder checkmate. Here also, although it's not possible because black can come here, hide behind this. Let's just try it though. Does it work? No. White saw it and went here. Now here we need to be extremely careful. Why? A move like, let's say, queen here trying to checkmate. If I play my queen here, that's a draw. That's a stalemate. Black is out of moves. The king cannot move anywhere. This pawn cannot move. These pawns cannot move. So to ensure that a stalemate does not happen, it's good if you give checks. As a beginner, I am okay even if you sacrifice the rook if you are confused. But always remember a stalemate avoiding trick. Keep at least 1 legal move for your opponent. Now it's one on either of these 2 squares. I will just move the queen, but I won't go away. Comes here. How this is the problem square, no? How do we deflect the king from here? I will just do this. Again, keep 1 square. Now if I get excited and take this with the queen again, I'm covering everything except the square where king is, and again it will lead to a stalemate. I could do this with the rook actually, but let's just, when you are in doubt, you know what you do. Just give checks. Check, moves here. Again doubt, checks. But at some point, because I can just keep doing this forever, you have to build a plan. Let's say I give another check. Queen comes here. The more experienced you get, more you realize different patterns that can work. And I see this is a pattern where queen is here, guarding a square here, all these 3 squares on this diagonal, and if we have a rook besides the king, it controls everything. This is a pattern, and we checkmate. Santa with white pieces. I'll be playing one last game as black, and this time I will just make normal moves. I'll play this fast and I will explain it quickly. e4, e5, controlling the center. White attacks the pawn, I defend it. This is called as Ruy Lopez opening. It wants to remove this defender and take this. But if you calculate well, you realize that this is not going to work. Black goes behind. I develop another knight. Attack this pawn. Now this pawn is free. Should you take it? You have to look ahead of tricks like rook coming here, attacking this. If you move your knight back, this pawn is pinned. Let's not do it. Maybe you can attack this bishop, force it to go back. Here is a trick for all of you beginners. If there was a pawn here or something, you could try to play this and trap the bishop, although it's not really trapped. Let's just develop, open up this diagonal. I will just put a pin here. Pins are always good. This move was not that great. Why? This pawn is not well defended. It attacked twice and one of the defenders is pinned to one of the non-attackers from our side. I'll just capture. The knight cannot. Okay, another instructive moment. I can now just take this knight. Do not take with the bishop. Actually not bad because this is hanging. Let me take, and white cannot take with the queen. So it ruins the pawn structure and exposes the king. What do? We put our bishop nicely here, attack the rook. Now I am actually tempted to play a sacrifice, but no. I cannot bring my queen here. I really have some checkmating thoughts at this point. How do I mate? I have to bring queen here somehow. And one way to do is here, but that's guarded by this bishop. I also have to move this knight somewhere. And none of the white's pieces are coming very quickly. They are all misplaced kind of. I'm thinking of playing here, and then playing here. We also need to be mindful of these moves. White can create their own counterplay, attack here. But I think I sense this is safe. Oh, I just see now, if I play this rook is undefended. Also this pawn is unguarded. Okay. Are we in trouble? Not really. We can keep everything under control by this move. Queen has to run. I did not see that coming. I just realized, have I landed myself into some trouble? Let's see if white repeats. And I hate to make this move. But let me just... Oh my god, this is getting scary now. I'm suddenly on the defense. Okay. I will just shut up for next few... that was a mouse slip, but okay. Takes. The pin stays, but my rook gets open though. Let me play this. Did not take. Let me connect all of these guys. Check. I'm actually worried about my king's safety here. This is good. This bishop is sad. I was careless and oh my god, I just lost control of this pawn. See, now I'm playing without any thoughts and this is where you all do mistakes. Okay, let me just trade. Check. Now I will try to be completely offensive and it's hard to defend against this attack. I'll put my queen here. White runs away. But then I don't have a concrete attack. I cannot even enter like this because the bishop is guarding. This is actually a good bishop. Let me try to open it somehow. I don't want this bishop. I take, removes the defense of this line. I put my queen here. Counter attack. I could have taken the pawn. And here is how I strike. When this, we are pretty safe, nothing to worry about. Check. Can you go here? No. Takes, and followed by checkmate in the next move. This was a desperate move, but nothing changes, and I deliver a checkmate. You see how I was careful while just not calculating moves, taking time, and it landed even me into worse position. That's why never play a move without considering everything. And as a beginner, I would advise you, if you are playing against a human in a timed match, do not play blitz games, bullet games until your tactics are sharp and your senses are developed. That's all for today. Let's learn and get better at chess. See you soon in the next video.